Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We're unpacking the absolutely high-stakes financial and technical decisions behind maintaining utility-scale battery energy storage systems, or BESS for short. Look, if you're operating in the renewable energy space, you already know that keeping these massive assets highly profitable, yeah, it is definitely not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. Actually, a single miscalculated upgrade can literally wipe out years of profit. So today, we're going to look strictly at the data and strategies from recent industry analysis to figure out exactly how asset managers navigate the really complex thresholds of repowering.
But, before we even look at the data, we have to ask a crucial question. It's one that every asset manager and technical director is going to eventually face with aging infrastructure. When does a full cell swap actually make financial sense? It sounds like a straightforward operational upgrade, right? Your batteries get old, you swap them out for new ones. Easy. But as we're about to see, that simple assumption can trigger a whole cascade of invisible costs that can completely destroy an asset's return on investment.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the 8-year battery dilemma. Then, the full swap illusion, weighing the hidden costs, smarter repowering alternatives, and finally, the decision threshold.
Section 1. The 8-year battery dilemma, aging infrastructure.
To really grasp the gravity of this first concept, let's anchor it in a real-world scenario. Imagine a massive 100-megawatt, 400-megawatt-hour asset. We're talking about a highly lucrative, heavily utilized piece of grid infrastructure, and it has just reached year 8 of its operational lifespan. That is 8 years of continuous cycling, charging, discharging, and stabilizing the grid. And at this 8-year mark, the asset is suffering from severe capacity fade and rising internal resistance. The physical chemistry itself is fundamentally degrading. To an operator just looking at surface-level metrics, well, alarms are ringing. It feels like an operational emergency that requires a massive, immediate midlife cell swap just to keep the revenue flowing. Moving on to Section 2, the full swap illusion, spreadsheet versus reality. Now there is a stark contrast between flawless theoretical math and, harsh reality. Theoretical augmentation models look phenomenal on a spreadsheet. The math assumes this pristine, upward revenue curve with a perfectly clean swap and instant performance restoration. But as we all know, spreadsheets don't have to carry heavy equipment or deal with physical constraints in the field. Calculating a real-world repowering scenario requires weighing severe limitations that those theoretical models just completely gloss over.
Which brings us to Section 3, weighing hidden costs, invisible constraints.
There are invisible enemies to your ROI that you have to weigh, and you have to do it rapidly. We're talking about the remaining lifespan of your balance of plant, or BOP. You're battling declining round-trip efficiency, you are facing escalating augmentation costs, plus the sheer overhead of integrating replacement cells, and then add to that the massive hit of downtime losses while the system is totally offline, and finally, the often ignored residual value of the legacy racks you're pulling out.
Just think about the balance of plant reality for a second. The remaining lifespan of your existing inverters, transformers, and HVAC systems. They might not match the 10 to 15-year lifespan of your brand new cells. Then look at downtime. A full swap means taking the asset offline, which results in direct, immediate losses in revenue. And the integration reality? It's a logistical nightmare. There is massive overhead trying to make brand new, modern cell technology communicate safely and efficiently with an 8-year-old legacy system.
Let's pivot to Section 4, smarter alternatives, degradation management.
So, if a full replacement is often just an illusion masking deep financial pitfalls, how do the best asset managers actually handle this? Well, instead of a simple, linear timeline where you just replace everything at once, think of this as an escalation ladder of interventions. Step 1 is specialized degradation management, really tuning your software and cycling parameters to squeeze every last drop of life out of the current chemistry. Step 2 is partial augmentation. And Step 3, the absolute last resort, is the full cell replacement. Engaging with those lower steps, like actively managing the remaining degradation curve, often yields a vastly superior ROI compared to just jumping straight into a full repowering.
Let's focus in on Step 2 for a minute, partial augmentation. This is a real game changer because it allows you to bypass a lot of those heavy downtime and integration costs we just uncovered. By integrating new capacity alongside the existing infrastructure merely to compensate for the fade, you avoid the massive overhead of ripping out and replacing complete legacy racks. Your system stays online longer, your integration costs are minimized, and you're still hitting your energy dispatch requirements.
And that leads us to our final section, Section 5, the decision threshold, strategic metrics.
Okay, we've seen the risks, we've explored the alternatives, so how do we actually make the final choice? These are the 3 strategic financial metrics that asset managers absolutely must evaluate before committing to any midlife cell swap. First, rigorously evaluate your balance of plant lifespan constraints. I mean, don't put a 15-year battery on a 5-year inverter, right? Second, calculate the true, fully loaded downtime costs. What is every single hour of that swap actually costing you in lost market participation? And third, assess the residual value of those legacy racks against the massive overhead of new integration. Honestly, only when the math of these 3 metrics clears your hurdle rate should a full swap even be on the table.
I want to leave you with this provocative thought. When you're looking at your own massive energy storage assets, what is your exact state of health threshold for action? Asset managers, technical directors, at what precise capacity fade threshold do you officially pull the trigger on a full cell swap versus just managing that remaining degradation curve? Is it at 70% state of health, or do you have the tools and the nerve to push it even further? Keep analyzing, keep calculating, and whatever you do, don't let the spreadsheet illusions blind you to the physical realities on the ground.